This is the Pensblog podcast. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. You can listen live right now, obviously, or on you can be listening to this recorded. Trying this out. Probably be the last podcast until like August or some shit. But I'm Derek. See my picture pop up here. I'm Derek. Adam is with us as well. Thanks everybody too for some of the pointers that you were giving out in the last podcast. A lot of good comments and stuff like that. So thanks to everybody for that. Big day today. Obviously, the Penguins free agency was absolutely insane. The Penguins signed Christian Ehrhoff, which honestly didn't see it coming. I was just talking to somebody on GChat right now who brought it up in the last podcast and said, "Oh, do you guys think that the Penguins will sign Christian Ehrhoff?" And we said, "No way." I said that, and of course that happened today. So shows you how much we know. So the Penguins also signed Blake Como, and I believe they re-signed Marcel Goc. Did they do any? And Thomas Greiss. Apparently, Jim Rutherford has an affliction for, or not affliction, but a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Affinity.
Affinity, yes, perfect. An affinity for Germans. So yeah. So I mean, I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. I thought it was a good day.
Big thing is, what does the three goalies mean?
Jeff Zachock is he's not that good. So.
Jeff Zachoff is gone. They're gonna let him. Maybe they have a trade in the works. Maybe that's why they signed Greiss, because Zachoff is part of a trade somewhere.
I hope.
I mean, because you send him down, somebody's gonna pluck him. You're not gonna get anything for him. Maybe he's part of a trade.
Yeah, I have no use for him at all, to be honest with you. I mean, he's not he came in, most of his games that he came in, I thought was whatever. Thomas Greiss, I don't really know much about him, but looking at the stats, seems pretty serviceable. It seems like he's an NHL goaltender compared to Jeff Zachoff. So
yeah, Zachoff, he had a good run last year. What was his stats? I'm looking him up.
Yeah, look him up. He wasn't that good. I don't know. Every time I thought that he was in a game, I thought it was a game that, if memory serves me right, like he was always getting like a West Coast team on the last of a road trip. Like he was always getting like a lot of garbage teams.
Let's see what the numbers say.
If anybody has any, what's that?
Said everything's coming up Google.
Yeah, I know.
Because you're talking about GChat and Google Hangouts and Chrome.
I know. I might as well just like get a T-shirt. Brought my penguin fleece out for the first time. I refused to wear it after the Ranger series till they made some changes. Feels good. Feels comfortable actually right now.
He was
team store.
He was 12-6-2 last year.
So he played 18 games.
261 goals against, 912 save percentage.
That's not bad.
And an assist.
If you think about it. That's not horrible. That's not horrible. I mean, I have to go to Thomas Greiss's stats. If anybody has any questions, I think the QA thing, I think it's on. If it's not on, then whoops. You can hit us up on Twitter or whatever. We'll be probably half an hour here or whatnot. Just kind of going over some shit. Rick, no clue where Rick is. Rich is unable to make it. I think Jesse's
is Rick allowed to work on Canada Day?
Yeah, that's probably what he is. He's probably all like just messed up on stuff.
Yeah, I don't think Canadians are allowed to work on Canada Day.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. Thomas Greiss, real quick. Is it Greiss? Is it Grace? How do you pronounce that name?
Thomas, I'd say Greiss.
Played last year. Yeah, now that's what I'm saying. It's all German all the time for old Jim Rutherford.
I love this Euro train. The Euro train coming right through Fort Pitt Tunnel.
It's the greatest thing of all time. Let's go to.
Uh-oh.
Oh crap! I just messed that up, but Huge mistake. Great podcast already. Let's go over here real quick. I'll share my screen. We can all look over Thomas Greiss. I think it's Greece, but could be completely wrong.
Grease lightning, if that's the case.
See my screen here. Hopefully, or is it doing the thing again? God damn it! Everybody's seen infinite screens right now.
Porn
Fucking
icons.
worse. Oh my god. Whatever. How about I just read it and fucking kill myself? Played for Phoenix last year. 25 games, 10 wins, 8 losses. Interestingly enough, goals against not too bad. What was Zakhov's? Greece's 2.29.
Yeah, I think he was 2.21 or 212, something like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Arizona, Joe
Yeah,
Vitale.
yeah. Let's all take some time to make fun of Joe Vitale. I think he got $1 million. Joe Vitale is going to make $3 million in the next 3 years. Think about that, people.
He's a millionaire. He is a millionaire. That's funny to me.
And so this whole thing, Adam and I were texting today. I think Adam posted a screenshot. Like this is like our dream comes true. This off season, Joe Vitale's gone. Tanner Glass is gone. Brooks Orpik, Derek England, I have no problem really with Matt Niskanen or whatnot. Somebody just texted me and said it's not Greiss. I don't even know who that is, but whatever. Somebody.
I think it's Greiss, like Rice-A-Roni.
Greiss. Yeah. When he wins a game, I'll pronounce his name right, maybe. I don't know. I just I'm a big hater of Joe Vitale, and I hated where the Penguins. We hated where the Penguins were going. It was just the absolute worst.
And that reflected. I know people were jumping on us a lot for like being negative about the Penguins, but and there were a lot of people that were that way. I know a lot of our close friends were the same way. People that we had grown up and like learned how to watch the game with. And we were all pretty much at the same time getting fed up with the Penguins and where they were going. It's because they started doing this North American system, and nothing was going to deter them from going down that path. And like in the NHL, I don't think you can really stand pat like that. And they thought they had they thought they were inventing something new with all the North American players and having the same system all throughout the farm. All throughout the organization, through Wilkes-Barre, the minor league team, and the Penguins. I don't know if any other organization even talks about doing stuff like that or not. But, I mean, that stuff didn't work. Now they're doing something else, and it's just fun. It's fun to be talking about the Penguins again and excited about it.
Yeah, it failed miserably. I mean, it was just a complete failure. I mean, if you think about how angry... If I think about how angry I was every time I had to watch Joe Vitale skate on the ice, and just like they would, and Adam, I remember you getting particularly jammed up about this all the time. They'd cross into the zone, they cross the blue line, and just dump the puck, even like a golden chance. All you would have to do is make a somewhat skilled play, dump it in front of the net. Just make a pass, make one pass, use some skill to take a look and see what your teammates open on a 3-on-2. And Joe Vitale would literally, I wish I was gonna make a gif of it. He would just dump the puck, he'd throw it in the corner, and not only would he throw it in the corner, he would lose the battle.
Telling you right now,
he would lose the battle like horrible.
There was a game, and I have to. It's so vague in my memory, but this kind of play should have stuck with me. It was against either the Islanders or Rangers this past season. Vitale and somebody had a 2-on-1, and it wasn't like just a 2-on-1 from the red line. Like it was a 2-on-1 where if you knew what was going on, you knew that the defenseman at the blue line was flat-footed, and you would get around him and have a 2-on-1. And there was something like that going to happen. Vitale got around that defenseman and just dumped it into the corner and chased it. And I forget who was charging to the net. The guy just like skated around and went off for a change. If you paid me money, if you paid me like $1,000, I'd go find it. But I don't care that much. Vitale. I washed my hands of Vitale at around 2 o'clock. I went to the bathroom and I washed my hands. That was it. Done.
does the Arizona Coyotes, do they have a scouting department? They can't have a scouting department. Like they can't have who's their GM? Don Mahoney, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, did you
Do
see
they
his
have?
quote?
No, what'd he say?
His quote, he said something like, "We saw Joe Vitale, and um, we're all about the details, and he has it all," or something.
Are you
It's it's
serious?
really crazy. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Uh,
What would he be taught? What does he mean by that?
what other? Dude, I tell you what. You know what it felt like. I was like checking my phone today, probably around like 5 o'clock, 5:30, and you know how like you clean your house and then you like either go to bed or you go out and do something, you come back and your house is like clean and you totally forget like you cleaned it. That's how it's
Yeah.
gonna feel in September when training camp starts. Like we're gonna forget about the Penguins here for the next month or so. Pirates are kicking in, this, that, and the other, and then September's gonna come in and be like, oh, we got him, oh, we got him, oh, we got him. This is gonna be great. And then all we need now is Letang to either get a haircut or get traded. I don't care. Just get a haircut. I don't care if he got a haircut. I'd be totally fine with. You can't be making that much money, especially now, especially as of today. You can't look like that. You can't.
I agree. That's to me that's a big thing. You definitely have to have a haircut. You can't have your hair looking like Undertaker. I mean, and who to say?
You say the Undertaker.
Yeah, that's what he looks like. He like wants to be like some type of wrestler. It doesn't make sense. His hair doesn't make. I agree. I think that's a big thing. Like he's just one of those guys like you grew up with who had like long hair and he was just super annoying. You know, like get a haircut, dude. Like imagine if he shaved his head. How supportable he would be if he shaved his head. Be unbelievable,
That would
in
that
my
would be
opinion.
great.
And speaking of the blue line, I mean Christian Eroff. I think to me, I think everything the Penguins did today was shed. They shed a lot of dead contracts, a
Yep.
lot of horrid just Tanner Glass. He got paid $1 million or like 1.75, and the Derek England contract. If anybody's seen it, is one of the most bizarre things anybody's ever seen.
He's making more than Brad Richards, right?
Yeah,
He's making almost $3 million per year.
yeah. Like somebody thought that he was that good. Like how could you pay him $3 million? I don't get that. It
Wow.
doesn't make sense. I mean, and so I mean, all these players, all these guys are gone now, and I think the Penguins they signed Ehrhoff. Um, Ehrhoff is a good player. He's I have a lot of respect for his game. He toiled in Buffalo, just in an awful situation, and you know, I think if you kind of look at his career stats, again, I'm a big supporter in the hockey reference type of the similarity scores that they have on that site. I think they're really nice, and guys like Ryan Suter pop up, and Jay Meister, Bowmeister. I mean that's kind of whatever too, but and
Bo,
also Paul Morton. I think I think that I think this guy has a lot of potential, and I think he's a legitimate top four. Adam, I saw you talking to JP from Japper Drink. I saw you said you liked the Niskanen deal. Were you just being nice?
no, I like it for a team that needs a name, needs a defenseman. I think he's. I don't like that contract with the Penguins, but you look at a team like the Capitals that wants a defenseman like that. I don't think it's. I mean, you have to look at each team individually. Like, um, Florida signed UC Jokinen, and that's another farewell we have to give because I loved him for what 90 games, 95 games as a Penguin, whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
100 game. I
Yeah.
love that, and then you see Florida sign him for $4 million and four per, which
Jesus. Can we talk about what the Panthers did today? Like, what were they doing? Like,
what else did they
they're
do?
such a. But they signed Dave Bolin to like, I think 5 years with at 5.5 million.
Hasn't every team signed Dave Bolin?
Yeah.
It feels like every team has signed him.
I don't. The contracts today, like a lot of people are saying the contracts are horrible. I didn't think there was a ton. Like the Brooks Orpik deal is absolutely atrocious. He got 5 years, 27 million, I think.
Man,
That's
that's what
that's
JP
bad.
said. JP said he would have taken 3 years at that same,
I
or
mean,
3 years at 3.5 each, or something like
yikes.
that.
That's
That is
really
bad.
really bad. I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all to sign Brooks Orpik to that is just like, why would you do that? I mean, I thought your post, I thought you had a classy post of
That was classy.
I thought I thought you showed some class there for a change. Um, because I was all, I said whatever, who cares about Brooks Orpik? Um, but I think that he did have a solid career. I think a lot of people forget that he would have never signed again with the Penguins after the year they lost to Detroit. He would have never signed with the Penguins if Marian Hossa would have signed here, which would have been a great signing.
I love
But
that too. I
Brooks
love
Orpik is gone.
6 years on, we still talk about Marian Hossa.
Great player. Brooks Orpik would have been gone, but they paid Brooks Orpik instead. And if you think about it, that year that Brooks Orpik, that year that he played, um, he was terrible in that first Cup run. He was playing on Marian's. He was playing on the fourth line. So Michel Therrien was playing him on the fourth line. Balsma came on. Wrote the ship. Whatever. Orpik became in that top. He was in that top four. And then he became kind of the staple. But to me, Brooks Orpik will always be a disappointment. Unfortunately, I always envisioned him being like the Scott. It was completely unrealistic, but I always thought he would be like a Scott Stevens like defenseman, like huge hits all the time. And I don't know. I leave with a lot of disappointment from Brooks Orpik. For being the supposedly top two defenseman on what the Penguins had. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, he's what, like I was said earlier about, like relative to each team. I mean, he was a top two defenseman on the Penguins, and if the Penguins hadn't drafted him, they might have. I mean, they signed Gonchar going into that first coming out of the lockout, but they would have found another top defenseman instead of him. But they had him, and he was serviceable enough, and they just rode with him. And I think he hit his peak in those two, probably 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011 was his peak, and then he started coming down. And it's not so much coming down; it's just he started getting injured.
Yeah, yeah, and I think he played a physical style. I mean, I'm not. I think the Brooks Orpik. I think when he played. I think the 2009. I thought he played a really really good season. 2010 after that. I don't know. He just never was the guy that he was never a defenseman that you could put out there that you could say, oh man, Brooks Orpik he's gonna shut down Claude Giroux in the series. No, he just never shut anybody down. And I mean, people kind of said that. Oh, I mean, look at Ovechkin did to him in that 2009 series against Washington. I mean, Ovechkin's shit in his mouth the entire season. Ovechkin had like 25 goals in that series.
Wait a minute, he's shitting whose mouth?
Ovechkin shit in Orpik's mouth. Everybody was like, "Oh, Orpik will shut Ovechkin down." Like, no. Like Ovechkin probably can't wait to go to practice every day.
That was Orpik. No, that
He's
was
gonna embarrass
Ovechkin
Orpik.
versus Scuderi and Gill.
That's a huge mistake vintage mistake by Dan Bylsma. Probably lucky to win that series. To be
Actually,
honest.
they were down 2-0. They are lucky because, I mean, there's
Yeah,
so
it was
many things
bad.
you're gonna. I mean, that
Imagine if they lost that series. By the
game
way.
5 tying goal,
Man.
Malkin. Somebody pulled down the Capitol. Like the fans were
I
still
forgot about
booing.
that.
That's one of my favorite goals in like Penguin
Yeah.
history. Is that goal? Just I forget who was
Yeah.
calling the game on Versus, or I think it was on the regular NBC that day, and the crowd. Oh, I love it. And then came back. lost Game 6 in overtime, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think was it Steckel? No, it wasn't Steckel. It was somebody else, some other jobber from Washington. He deflected it in. I can't remember his name. It might have been Steckel. I don't remember.
Got a bunch of people telling us it's definitely Greiss.
Yeah, I
Getting
saw
like,
that. I don't know. It doesn't appear the comments. I think it looks like I forgot to turn the comments on for the QA, so that's my fault. Whoops. Um, whatever. Thomas Greiss.
what other?
Can't wait till Steiger. Well, how do you think Paul Steigerwald is going to react after 5 years of like fondling Dan Bylsma's balls and being Mr. North American, Joe Vitale, the heart of Derek England, like all these trash fucking players that we knew were trash, that we've literally fought with people on the internet. People accuse us of hating the Penguins. Like, I can't wait for the first game, like where Paul Steigerwald has to like talk about Patrick Hornquist and like, oh, big Swede, Patrick Hornquist. Like, it's gonna be great.
That was a good day today because all these players that I thought the Penguins should be rid of are rid of them, and like you said, we've battled here and there on the internet about it, and I didn't gloat or anything. I'm ready to move on. Like I
Oh, I'm gloating. I'm gloating all
was beating
day.
the drum about Vitali, England, um, Glass. Um,
Tanner
they're
Glass is so
gone.
bad.
I mean, that's
He's
just
such a horrible
that's
player.
great. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and so it kind of leaves the Penguins in an awkward spot because I think I saw somewhere around 8 million or so. It looks like Nikolai Kulemin is not coming to town, which that's kind of the one disappointment. But maybe there's a negotiation tactic, although it doesn't seem Jim Rutherford is the best negotiator in the whole world.
Then again,
Um,
I was talking to somebody. I forget. Somebody I always talk to anyway. Um, and they were talking about how yeah, the Penguins didn't get Kuhlman today, but he hasn't signed anywhere yet. So maybe there's something brewing.
yeah.
Who knows? Penguins might be like, hey, hang on a day. We're going to try to move this player around and go
Yeah,
from there.
something to remember about Jim Rutherford and his history. We had it in our Jim Rutherford post. If you look at his history, he usually trades. He always, I think, something out of how many years that he was the GM for actual seasons, because he lost 2 seasons almost with lockouts, but I think it was like something like 13 out of 16 years he made trades in December or January. So looks like he'll probably maybe he may let it ride, see what he has out of training camp, and then in December, maybe he makes a move. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a free agent type of move. Obviously, Coleman will be gone by then, but maybe he'll make a trade, a roster decision. But it kind of leaves the Penguins their top four right now of Paul Martin, Chris Letang, which is solid, I think, and then Christian Ehrhoff and Rob Scuderi, Simone, Simone Dupuis.
Simone
You
Dupre.
know,
Um,
will he get a look? I mean, so it kind of falls off again there. I mean, it kind of
well, yeah, but then
I
again,
mean,
I mean,
it's okay,
you got Harrington, Dumoulin,
right?
Samuelson.
Right, and then you got
Um,
all those young guys coming. You got all those young guys coming up, and so maybe they'll fight for that kind of bottom. Let them play at this point. One thing I like about the Kings, if you look at their roster on defense, they had a bunch of guys. They had Doughty, obviously, but then they had a bunch of guys that I think they had Robin Regier at like 3 million, and then there's like all the other guys were like 2 million, 1 million. So maybe that's a model the Penguins can follow.
I
I don't
agree.
know. I
What
don't know.
other
So,
what other signings were there that didn't make sense today?
God, Derek, like I can't get over the Derek England signing. Like I'll never recover from that. I mean, the Brooks Orpik stuff didn't make sense. I was really how fun are the Devils? Mike Camilleri, Double J in the house. I think they signed somebody else too. The Devils did. I don't remember who it was, but I think Camilleri got 5 years, 5 million.
Is he like
I
14?
think
How old is he?
who
Camilleri.
I'm not sure. Pretty old actually. He's
All right,
I
let's
think
go. Oh, there you
it
go.
looks
Willie
like.
Mitchell.
What did he get?
He signed with Florida. Florida's trying to get to the floor. 2 years at 4.25 a year.
That's not bad. Florida's bizarre. Like I said, they signed Dave Bolin. That contract is awful. You know, another guy, and I brought this up. I was working on a post last night, telling everybody right now, don't be shocked if you see a guy like Steve Downey
Wait a
signed
minute,
by the Penguins.
who's this Taylor Chorney that snuck in?
For who?
Penguins.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I'm looking at it, July 1st at a St. Louis Blues defenseman,
I
Taylor
don't know.
Chorney, $550,000.
Mm.
I might
No
be
idea.
looking at I have no idea what I'm looking at then. If
I don't know. I think
uh,
you might be maybe you're hallucinating or
oh
something.
no, this broke later than right after the Marcel Gotch.
No, that's yeah. The Penguins did do that. I think the Penguins bottom six is totally legit. I think we just got a message on Twitter. Matt Wayno asked us if why isn't Stepniak an option. I don't think Stepniak is. I don't think he's going to be a guy that the Penguins are going to sign back.
He has that marquee name anyway that he probably can make some money.
Yeah, I mean he played okay here, but I think maybe on the third line, but I don't even know. I think the Penguins are kind of settling. They'll re-sign Brandon Sutter and kind of go from there. I'm telling everybody though right now, don't be surprised if you see an idiot like Steve Downey signed by the Penguins. Rick Tocchet, who, as we know, is like basically the new owner of the Penguins because he does everything like this like became the face of the franchise. Like he announced a draft pick, which really bizarre still to this day, but he turned Downey into a beast in Tampa Bay. So he's out there. There's a lot of like forwards that didn't sign today
Matt
that
Niskanen
are
is
still
making
out
so
there.
much money.
7 years, 40.2 million.
5.75 a year.
I gotta be honest. I Matt Niskanen is
He's,
barely a top four. He's barely a top four defenseman in the NHL. I'm
that's good.
sorry.
We
I
got
don't care. No
we got
regrets.
7 years. We got 7 years to love that deal for Washington.
Uh, Niskanen was. If you think about all his points, a lot of his points came from the power play. He had, you could hide him a lot of the times with, playing with Malkin and Crosby. I liked where we went from calling him Matt Riskinen, if you remember, just like 2 years ago.
Good old times. Good old days.
I mean, he's making $40 million. I imagine, and everybody said this today. I wish Rick was here so he could gloat in our face about like, oh, how good the Letang contract looks now, and he's right.
What?
The Letang contract looks good.
What's he making? 7 something?
Yeah, 725. Somebody obviously brought up a good point too. I completely forgot Oli Mata, but I think Mata's out until December.
Yeah, no, that's why I didn't mention him either, because I was going to mention Derek Pouliot too, which is pretty much a shoe-in given the coach's his Portland coach. You can pretty much bet Pouliot's going to be.
So at worst, your bottom two defensemen could be Oli Mata, and I don't know if they'd go with Pouliot right away, but who the hell knows? To be honest with you.
Then I got a question. How about Aginla, 3 years in Colorado? I like it.
Yeah, big fan of Anthrax Jones on Twitter. Big, like the only Colorado fan I know.
It's the sexy pick. Like everyone falls in love with the Kings as the playoffs deepen, but I'll be all in on Colorado next year because they're.
Oh, you know who's going to be fun? And Sean Gentile from Sporting News. I think he had a really funny tweet. He's like, the Dallas Stars became the Game Center team next year. And we both have Game Center. I'm watching every Star game. They got Spezza and they got Ellis Hemsky. They added just a shit ton of skill to a team that's really has an awesome with Jamie Benn and that Russian guy they have and
that Russian guy. They got Lindy Ruff behind the bench.
And they have Taylor, what's his name too? Sagan, Taylor Sagan, Tyler Sagan. Jesus Christ.
Your mic's starting to.
Yeah, might be.
It's been a half hour, so.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll host it next time. See if it happens again.
Yeah, probably. It'll probably go down. But yeah, so that's really the quick and dirty of of the Penguins free agency or whatnot. I mean, hopefully pull him in. I would love to see that, but maybe Jim Rutherford at this point is done. We did say we were going to talk about Independence Day. What's your most underrated moment of Independence Day? Favorite. How about favorite character that no one would remember in Independence Day?
That's tough because I know the entire movie and I remember every character.
Who do you think?
Oh, I know. You're gonna say the same thing. Is that gay guy? That's
yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's great. What an act! He was like a huge part of that movie for the first 15 minutes. He drove his mom. He picked his mom up, and then he just died in that accident.
Yep. Your mic's getting into Dr. Oaken mode.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. 84 viewers, which is cool. So we'll be back probably next month. I don't know. Maybe something breaks coming up. But yeah. We'll see you guys later.